everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Male Perspective. I am your host, Lana Reid, and today is another wonderful day. I get to sit down with one of these amazing men of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Today, I have with me Brother James Rayford. He is down in the Gwinnett County area of Georgia with Rho Beta Sigma Chapter, and I'm so looking forward to spending some time with him today. But first and foremost, as I always do, sir, I take a quick moment to pause and say thank you to you for making time for me today. Time is a gift. Once we give it, we can't get it back. So I truly appreciate you setting aside this time to talk a little old me. And with that, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Lana. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, as I open up with these shows, I always ask, how long have you been a Sigma man and where did you pledge?
Okay, yes, I have been a man of Phi Beta Sigma since fall of 1986. I pledged at Russ College, Gamma Psi chapter. Russ College is the oldest HBCU in the state of Mississippi. And so I pledged on fall 86. I was a math education major.
Oh, is Mississippi where you're from, or?
I am from born and raised in Holly Springs, Mississippi, yes.
All right. M-I, crooked letter I.
Letter I, no back, no back
Oh, back I. Okay. All righty. Now, your particular chapter that you're with now, the Alumni Chapter, how long have you guys been around?
Our chapter was chartered in Gwinnett County back actually fairly new in 2015. And I actually, yes, 2015, we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary in next year in 2025. And I actually joined the chapter about 2 years ago.
Okay. So you were at another alumni chapter before then?
No, I was in my fraternity as a honorary member, and as I couldn't get involved as much because I was too busy raising 4 children.
Oh,
and working a full-time job.
Understandable. So you gentlemen have been around for about 10 years. About how large is the chapter? How many gentlemen are there?
We have about 75 brothers.
Okay, so nice size. Okay, nice size. Okay. Well, usually I start off these interviews with you men of Divine Nine talking about the chapter, but I want to kind of jump right into your professional career because I think education is on the forefront of many conversations these days. You have been a lifelong educator, and more specifically, yes, your current role is Director of Academic Support, correct?
Correct.
I was wondering if you could possibly explain the roles and responsibilities of your job and when the students and parents might encounter you.
Great question, Lana. So currently, I serve as Director of Academic Support for Gwinnett County Public Schools. And mostly I oversee our district's community-based mentoring program, which was started back in 2009 to serve African-American males. Then we kind of branched our stretch to serve African-American females in 2017. And then in 2019, we expanded to serve Hispanic boys and girls. And now we're just serving all students. When we relaunched in 2023, 24, we serve all students. So my role, how I support the local schools, I work with our local school counselors, and I work with schools to identify staff who may have students who could benefit from having a mentor, whether it be boys, whether it be girls. We work with students in grades 4 through 12. So it's almost like a balancing act. So I have to go out. Part of my job responsibility is to not only recruit mentors, but to provide the training, the background checks, the resources that they need so that they can be ready to be matched with a student. We go over the best practices. We use what we call Mentor National, which is a national organizational mentoring that has the elements of effective practice for mentoring. So we implement those standards. And then so once we have our mentors identified, we then say, okay, what school are you interested in being a part of? So we go to those schools and then say, hey, can you identify students? And once they identify students, we then go out and interview those students to make sure that they want to participate. And then not only do we match them up, Alana, we provide both individual and small group mentoring. So that's where we meet the parents. So I would say over a period of, this is our 14th year, over a period of 14 years, we've actually have students from a hybrid model, if you will. And what I mean by that is we have students who were recommended. We have students who were, they wanted to join, have a mentor because their friend was involved. We have had teachers make recommendations. But the beauty of it is the student has to say yes. And I always commend our students when they are open to having an adult to come into their life to say, hey, I got your back. I'm here to advocate for you. I'm here to help you navigate this thing called life.
Okay, that sounds great. Couple of things I want to unpack here. The mentor part. Uh, if somebody's interested in being a mentor, what requirements are needed? Is it like a time limit that they have to sign up for?
Yes, great question. So they have to be at least 21 years of age. So we do adult mentoring. We do same gender mentoring.
Okay.
They have to be 21 years of age. They must be able to provide a background check. They must make a commitment of at least 1 year. The mentoring that we do, we provide for 1 hour. The research says that if a mentor works with a student at least 1 hour a week for just even 6 months, you can change the trajectory of that student. But Lana, I'm fortunate, our program, we're fortunate that we actually have some men who have volunteered in our program for over 13 years since its inception.
Wow,
And
13
these are
years.
men who have volunteered because our program started out with men working with our boys.
Okay. So I'm hearing that they meet for an hour a week. Is it to go over coursework or just life skills or?
So great question. We actually provide a mentor handbook with our mentors,
Okay.
but we know that every student is different. So we say meet them where they are. So we equip them with tools. So if you have a student who's not as organized, so we may have a session on how to get organized, a goal setting. If someone may be struggling with conflict resolution, or they may be struggling with anger management, we just equip them with resources that they can just meet the mentee where they are. But we do have a set resources for them, and every child is different. So we say meet them where they are and find out what resources they need and pour into them.
Okay. And you mentioned sometimes the kids, they see their friends in the program, so they want to be in the program, but sometimes the staff identifies a student that might need. So are there particular students that the program looks for first and foremost?
Yes, yes. So we actually have what we call a tiered system. So we look at a tier two student, or a student who may just be in the middle of the road, a student who may not necessarily be in a straight A academic strong student, but at the same time, they're just that student that's in the middle of the road that just goes to school and come home, may not be involved in as much activities. So those are the types of students we really we look for. We tell our counselors and teachers to know who are those students in this middle of the road there that could just benefit from having someone to pour into their life.
Okay. Now, talking about the school setting, I'm gonna switch gears for a little bit. Talking about the school setting, one of the things that I'm constantly hearing from educators, north, south, east, and west, and you've been at this for some years now, is that public education has changed a lot over the years, and a lot of things in current times, some people are saying are broken. In your opinion, what are some areas where we can fix, repair, make some changes in public education?
That's a great question there, Lana. I think one of the first changes we need to have is just to bring people to the table. We need to be able to have what we call a collaborative leadership, to be able to have parents at the table, to be able to have students at the table, to have business at the table. Everyone needs to have a seat at the table to discuss some of the challenges that are facing public education. And I do believe that we are at the point. Obviously everyone was impacted by the pandemic, but I think public education is going through a phase where we have to reinvent. We have to keep up with the times, and so we are asking our educators to really focus on development of our students. There, our students have to have those get back to the basics, those critical skills, those reading skills, and sometimes something my father always told me is that education is knowledge. It's not just book knowledge, but it's that life skills knowledge. And we just need to get back to those basics and just have everyone having a seat at the table.
Okay, right. You mentioned the pandemic, and another thing that I was hearing, that we lost a lot of students off of the rolls during the pandemic. They just poof disappeared. There in Gwinnett County, have you managed to relocate these children and get them back in the school system?
I would say for the most part, yes, our enrollment has picked back up. We are seeing an influx of students to actually enroll in our schools. Our schools are constantly growing, but we've also lost some students to a lot of virtual learning, a lot of online learning. We have lost students to some private schools as well. Some of those pieces as well. And that's just across not just Gwinnett County, but across the state as well as the country. We have lost those things, but we are seeing a tick in the enrollment.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Now, another thing that's always concerned me, and Phi Beta Sigma, you guys are doing an excellent job, is that we don't see a lot of Black men in educator roles. Um, is there something that we can do to entice our brothers? Because it's very important that students see you guys in classrooms, on campus and stuff like that. Is there anything that we can do to entice you guys to get in the education?
Yes, actually, there's, it's a great question. I'm actually working with an organization we're talking about. You've probably heard of the African American Male Initiative. There's a lot
Yeah.
of organizations out there to really promote that. And what we're finding is that we must start working with our students in middle school to start talking about education and careers, so that they'll know that there's a support system, to let them know that they can have a sustainable career that will allow them to support their families, to live a quality life, and they can make a tremendous impact of the next generation of people. So we have to be very intentional and strategic in those areas. We have to provide, because we know there's a shortage of teachers, and there's also a shortage of male educators. We just have to do a better job of letting people know that these careers exist and that they're in demand, and that you can have a fulfilling life as an educator.
Okay.
And we have
What
to
is,
really show that.
you have to show that. Well, what for you personally? What are some of the most rewarding moments you have about being on campus in the K through 12 setting and working with the kids? What are some of the rewards you get?
Well, I think there are several, but I think something that stands out to me, Lana, I'll give a classic example. My son and I were at an Atlanta Hawks basketball game, and as we were exiting the arena, one of my former students saw me from 1996. He was in the class of 1996. And he said, "Mr. Rayford, you are my middle school and my high school teacher. You're one of the best teachers that I've had." So to hear that, and he's now working with the CDC, and he has his own family. To hear people, students say that, that's probably the most rewarding compliment you can receive there. And then when you find students that come back and say, or they're doing extremely well, they're contributing to society, they're
Awesome.
productive, and they say that, and they can remember your name, and they can remember the things that you taught them in their class. That's very rewarding.
Awesome. I just think people don't understand the power, the long-term power of seeing a brother in a class as a teacher, the impact that has on male and female students of all races. It's just so wonderful. And I must say, it must be something in the pledge process, because I see more Sigmas as educators than any of the others. It must be something they whisper in your ear or
Well,
something.
well, it's that our president, our honorable president, we say that when you want to get things done, you get a Sigma to do it. And so, our Sigmas, we are men of action. We are leaders, and really hone in on the brotherhood and the scholarship there. So, I think it's a natural calling, and that's one thing that drew me to Phi Beta Sigma, was the fact that not only my dad is an educator and a Sigma, but the mayor was a Sigma. The vice president of the college is a Sigma. My pediatrician was a Sigma. I mean, they just held a lot of leadership positions in the community there. Coaches were Sigma. So I've always seen men of Sigma helping with the youth, volunteering, being great dads. It seems like that's just in our DNA.
Oh, a lot of blue and white in Mississippi, huh?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, quite fitting, since you are in education in Gwinnett County. You are also the director of education for your chapter. So that just didn't
Yes.
happen by happenstance, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got appointed. The time I joined the chapter, I got appointed
That's our
as director
guy.
of education. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
our guy. Okay. And one of the many initiatives that I see that your chapter carries out, and I think this is a nationwide initiative of Phi Beta Sigma, is you have the Adopt a School program. How does that play out for your chapter in your area?
That is great. Adopt a School program is one of our models for education, one of our pillars of our three programs. And so we actually have adopted an elementary school that's in Snellville, Georgia. They have a new principal there, so we've signed things there, and we have done a lot to provide support there. We provided tutors. We participate in a STEM night where we've done some STEM activities for them. We participate in their Black History program. We shared all about information about our fraternity. We actually just even did participate in there what they call trunk or treat, where we as Sigmas, where we got together and gave out candy for Halloween. So we participated in that. We do Teacher Appreciation Week. We provide treats for and thank all of the teachers during Teacher Appreciation Week. And then there's something new that the principal asked us was just visibility. You know, and when you mentioned that just not only men in education, but it's even rare to have men at the elementary level. So one of the things we've done is, well, we call it visibility, where we actually just go up to the school and we walk the hallways, be in the cafeteria, so the kids get an opportunity to see kids that look like them and see men in the building. And then we also participate in what they call positive behavior and intervention supports, PBIS. So we provide the incentives and treats for those students who are selected by the counselors for the positive behavior and intervention supports.
So with the PBIS, you gentlemen come in, and is it like a treat day, or how do they interact?
Yes, so they actually have a little ceremony once a month where the teachers they identify the student that have shown the most progress or the most standout student for that month for that particular classroom. And during the lunchtime, they actually call them up on the stage, and then we provide them with treat bags with our logo and things on it from like that, so they'll know about our fraternity, that we provided those incentives for them.
I can just see it now. Chest all swole, kid just beaming, smiling from ear to ear. I can see it now. So what other things does your chapter have going on in the area that I might have well, I know.
Oh wow, we're doing everything. We have all our we're doing Vita, so it's tax season right now. So many of our my fraternity brothers we've worked in a church where every Saturday we go help people prepare their income tax service,
Really?
tax prepared. So we actually have brothers in our chapter that have been trained to do that. We participate in canned food drives. We do a number of things. We did babies helping mama, so we donated toiletries and food items for single parents, home families. We've done it. We provided Christmas gifts to the Children Healthcare of Atlanta. We've done a number of things that we provided, even scholarships. We provide scholarships to students to continue their post-secondary education once they graduate high school.
Wow, you guys are doing a lot in the 10 years you've been around.
Yes, we have an adopt a school. So we actually have an adopt a highway program. So we actually go out and we pick up the trash in our areas. We partner with another organization. We provide support for our spectrum autism support group. So we provide support there. We've done that. We've done a Yellow River cleanup. So we do a number of things. As a matter of fact, this past weekend, we actually had brothers all over. We did the income tax preparation on Saturday morning. We participated in a local church's HBCU college, and then we had brothers that were at one of our local churches passing out canned goods all on the same day.
Awesome. Serving work, serving work. Now voting season is coming up, and Georgia's in the news when it comes to
Oh yes.
I'll get into it. Do you gentlemen get out and rally the folks up to vote and all of that stuff?
Yes, so our social action committee does do that, and that's been that was actually one of the things for our chapters is to make your vote count. So that's something that we're going to be doing this upcoming school year, because we obviously in Gwinnett we got the big election, general election that's going to take place in November.
Yes.
So we are going to be doing some things where we're going to our social action committee is going to come up with some initiatives to encourage young people to register to vote.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and I know you guys can't do it, but if you could, just keep an eye on those electoral people because they're going through some changes down there. So, but
Yes, yes,
yes, indeed,
that's right.
yes, indeed. Well, let me ask you this real quick because you mentioned you grew up seeing Sigmas. You come from a legacy of Sigmas. For that young man who is just stepped foot on a college campus and everybody's on the yard, what advice or guidance would you give him? Unbiased, let me say, unbiased advice would you give him in trying to decide if and when to pledge, what to pledge, and all of that stuff?
I would first say, be true to yourself. Make sure that you understand that you're there. Your first priority is to get an education. Your parents or your whomever sent you to school that they want you to graduate, try to graduate on time. So make that your priority. The second thing is I'll say, have an open mind to look at, find out do your research on the fraternities if you decide to pledge one, and find one that's going to fit you. A lot of times you see people, they join a fraternity because of what the fraternity can do for them. But I see it as the other way around, what you can do for the fraternity. You have to make sure that you're going to stay true to yourself and be yourself. That's the advice that I would give a young person on the college grounds.
Okay. And you mentioned you were raising four children. Did they follow in your footsteps?
I only have one son. So I have one son. He's 27 now, and I have three daughters. My son, he actually was gonna go ahead and start pledging, but there are some little mishaps that took place along the way. So I told him that I'm gonna bring him on in one of our alumni chapter.
Life happens, life happens.
Yeah.
And for you personally, sir, Mr. Rayford, reflecting on your years as a Sigma man, how do you feel it's impacted you in the sense of brotherhood, and how's it added value to your life?
Oh, wow. It has done so much for me as a man growing up. When I see all the brothers, it just it's inspiring, and it's a great feeling when you see that there are a lot of other like-minded brothers who have the same purpose and who are part of the same, going down the same path. It's like that cliche, iron sharpens iron. And I've been fortunate to be a part of a fraternity where it's non-judgmental. It's going to be support. Brothers want to check on you. How's your family? How's your health? How's your job? Well, how can we support one another? It's great to have men in your corner that you can do that, because that doesn't happen. A lot of people don't have those resources and those opportunities. So I feel very blessed to be a part of a fraternity that generally has brotherhood. When I tell you a true brotherhood, it's a true brotherhood. And it's almost like sometimes, even when you don't see one another on a regular basis, but when you do see each other, you can pick back up where you left off, and it's like nothing has happened in between there. So it's great to have that type of bond and like-minded brothers who want the same thing in life.
Awesome. It is so important to have that connection. Um, One question just popped in my mind because we were talking about mentorship earlier of young people. If there was a young man standing in front of you and he says, one day I want to be like you, Mr. Rayford, and be director of academic support, what steps would he have to take to eventually land himself in your type of position?
Wow. Well, he would definitely have to have a college degree. He would have had to have at least 5 years as a classroom teacher. He would have to have a master's degree or a certification in educational administration and supervision. And he would have to have a passion for wanting to serve, because the more I look in this position, it's all about serving. I consider myself a servant leader. So I would tell them that, are you doing it for the title, or are you doing it because this is for the money, or doing it because this is what you want to do? That's what I would tell them. Those would be the steps I would tell them.
So next in the educational career for Mr. Rayford, what is it? Superintendent? Is that what we will?
Well, I actually have some other things that I'm working on that I want to eventually step out and do a LLC at some point.
Okay.
So I have some ideas that I'm kind of putting pen to the paper right now, just jotting down some things that I want to see in the next phase of my life.
Okay, I like it. Well, let me ask you my random question, sir. I think I've covered everything.
Okay.
I think we've covered. So we've got the voter registration coming up for your chapter. You said scholarships. When will the scholarships be? Because kids will be getting
Great
out.
question. So we will be giving our scholarships out during the month of April.
Okay.
So our application window is still open right now. We currently have about 20 applications in already. So we have our rubric where we'll go in and start scoring the essays and looking at the GPAs, and so that we can determine our 3 scholarship winners. And then we'll award those scholarships that will take place in April.
Okay. So for the kids to apply for the scholarships, are there requirements going into the application that they have to have?
Yes, they must have a minimum of a 3.0 GPA. They must be involved in at least one extracurricular activity, and then they have to write a 500-word essay titled "How will they use their education to impact their community?"
Okay. And it's just for students going to a four-year institute?
Gwinnett County, this would be students who are in Gwinnett County public schools, graduating seniors in the class of 2024.
So I guess what I'm trying to do, can they be going to a community college or do they have to go to a four-year institution?
They have to go to a 4-year school.
Okay, I got you. Okay, got you. All right, let me ask I know I'm going to have some questions and I'm going to get off and I'm like, I should have asked that. Oh,
That's fine.
I have to get you back. Let's see what I've got here. Let's see
What you have.
Okay, if your partner were to surprise you, what would be your ideal date to go on?
Say that again.
If your partner were to surprise you, what would be your ideal date to go on?
Ooh, my ideal date to go on.
All expenses paid. You don't have to worry about anything.
Oh man, I'm going to say, go see a show in New York.
Oh, have you ever been to New York?
Yes, I've been to New York. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
very good.
and then we'll find a spot to do a lot of dancing.
Oh, okay, all righty. Light on your feet then.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Yes.
You go. Oh, I like it. All righty, so we're going to be peeking in on you. You got your LLC to be forming. What is it? You have all the Sigmas will be gathering for your convention when?
So actually, we have actually having a joint Sigma Zeta State Conference in Augusta, Georgia, next weekend. That's going to be there. Unfortunately, I won't be able to take off to go to work there the next weekend. I'm not going to be able to go. It's the 20th. Actually, I'm sorry, this upcoming weekend, February 23rd through the 25th. But then we actually have our regionals in the Bahamas, May 17th through the 20th. So I will be going there.
Oh, so
I am going to go to regional. Yes.
I'm gonna catch the Bahamas. I've seen
I'm gonna
Georgia
catch
enough.
Bahamas.
I've
Yeah,
seen Georgia enough, but
that's right. That's right. Yes.
Man, I
Yeah.
ain't mad at you.
Yeah.
Well, sir, give us the website if we are ever down in the Georgia way and we want to connect with you and see what your
Sure.
Sigmas are up to.
Just go to GwinnettSigmas.com.
GwinnettSigmas.com. All
That's
righty.
it.
All right. Well, sir, I thank you for your service and education first and foremost, because it is so important. Like, I cannot say that enough. It's just so important for kids to see, kids of all races to see a Black man on the campus in any capacity. You know, it just leaves such a strong impression and sends a strong message. I thank you for your commitment to the community and your chapter's commitment to the community. And I thank you for your time, and just from little old me, just thank you very much.
Well, you're quite welcome, Lana. I really appreciate you and the work that you're doing and to help broadcast our story. I love the fact, the male perspective. I love that. I'm going to be following you now so I can see all the things you're going to be doing. And again, congratulations to you, and thank you for doing this work. It's much needed. Thank you.
So much. That is all for this week's episode of The Male Perspective. I'm your host, Lana Reid, and we'll see everybody next time.